like this is something critical, crucial, then that's different. But like every situation that come up, if somebody don't disclose something to you, it's no need to blow it out of proportion. There's no need to make a big deal about it or an assumption about it. That's just how I think.
Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of She-Nanigans, the 40 plus podcast for 40 plus women as we navigate love, life, relationships, fitness, faith, fun, and foolishness. Come on in, sit back, stay a while, because I'm guaranteeing you that we're going to cross your street at some point or another. So let's get right into it as we spin the wheel and choose our topic. Is it the way? Oh, this sounds interesting. We were never on the same page. I was just reading between the lines. Spicy. Spicy. Spicy, spicy, spicy. We were never on the same page. I was just reading between the lines. What do you think that means? What does that mean?
I don't know if that could be a good thing or I guess it's just the way you perceive it because I'm a read between the line type person. You
Okay.
know, I hear what you're not saying.
Okay.
So, that's just how I've been. So I read what you're not saying. But it's not in a bad way. It's just that sometimes you don't necessarily have to say what it is that you're saying for me to understand and know what you mean to say.
Okay.
Or I don't know if, the flip end of it would be, you know, you we were never on the same page. You just read between the lines, meaning you disagree with what the person is saying. I don't know if that means that you disagree or that you agree. I don't know. That's what I mean. But I don't know if that's I don't know which way to take that.
Okay.
But I do read between the lines, and not to say that I'm not on the same page with you, but then also in the conversation, I hear everything that you're not saying, or at least in my mind. But then ultimately, it ends up being it comes forth, and that I heard right everything that you were not saying.
Okay. All
Hmm.
right. Good. Cassandra, that's your take on that.
Hmm.
What do you think? Is Stephanie on here?
I can see her.
Okay. What do you think, Stephanie?
I think that, like, I'm just gonna talk about with how I feel. Like, being on the same page
Mm-hmm.
means that y'all are talking the same language, basically. Um, so if you're reading in between the lines, that means it's not there. That's what you're saying. Uh, that's what you're reading, and that's what your perspective is. So
Mm-hmm.
is the topic really like, is it better to read between the lines or is it good to be on the same page? Because if it's like read between the lines, sometimes it could mean, I'm saying sometimes, it could mean that sometimes it could mean that like you're not trusting what's been said. So now you're reading in between the lines or what is
Okay.
printed. Maybe you don't trust all the people that's reading on the page. Maybe you don't trust the people. And so you read between the lines because all the other chapters and pages I agree with or they were lies or something. So now
Came back to
we on
bite me
chapter
in my
7.
tush.
Now
Yeah.
I'm on page. Now we on chapter 7. Now I have to read between the lines because the other chapters you didn't lie to me. It's been a whole bunch of drama or whatever that is. So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm gonna read between the lines because what's printed and what has been said or shown is not matching up with what I what I believe. So,
Mhm.
whatever. So, I'm taking it as that.
Okay. All right. Shan, we were never on the same page. I was just reading between the lines.
See, I took
What's your
that as
takeaway?
my take. I took it as a negative.
Mm.
So how I took that, it was whether it was a relationship or whether it be a friendship, what you're telling me is okay, yeah, we're this and we're that. But the way that you're acting or little things that you do, I'm reading something totally different from what you're saying. So therefore,
Mm.
it's like you're telling me, yeah, we cool, we this, we that, but it's just little subtle things that you do that I'm picking up on. And it's like, yeah, you're saying that we believe in the same thing. You're saying that we on one accord. But what you're showing me is something totally different.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So now, since we've gotten, everybody's perspective of the situation, let's dive a little deeper. Have you ever realized y'all were never on the same page? It could be your boo, it could be your potential boo, it could be your prospective boo, it could be a friend, it could be a coworker, it could be a family member. You were just highlighting sentences that didn't exist. He had the book and you had the cliff notes for dummies, right? You know, how do we create those narratives? How does that even begin? How do we end up reading between the lines? How does it start? How does it
I,
start?
I think because the beginning, it's like when you read a book. I remember one time I was going to a therapist and she told me to read this book. And so I'm thinking it's like a self-help book. I didn't realize, but by the time the third chapter, this lady is talking about mind regulation and cognitive control.
Oh,
So I saw the other chapters. I started skimming through. Oh no, I won't be reading this book.
he was
So
trying
I
to put
think
you in the fucking place. What?
yes. So sometimes we start because of what somebody has told us. So you come in the situation with a different perspective of what they told you. This guy, he's so nice, he's so sweet. Until you begin to open this book or get to know, aka get to know this dude or this person, right? And then at first is the representative because at beginning of most books it has a preface, and the preface read the preface is the light stuff of the book, right? The preface is going to tell you, this is what this is about, and you're going to enjoy this book because it's talking about, but it's not telling you about each chapter, right? It's not telling you what's in each chapter. So when you look at the preface and maybe the first chapter, you don't have the whole story. But once you start turning the pages, going down each page, you be like, nah, this not what I thought this was gonna be.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And you
That's
have,
right.
you have a choice. You have a choice to close the book, or you have a choice to keep reading.
Correct. And most times we keep reading. We
Mhm.
keep reading because we want to psych ourselves out. We want to tell ourselves it's gonna get better. Well, I know they can do this, they gonna do that, they gonna do the other. And so that's when we get to the point where we say information or imagination versus information. Are we imagining that this person is who they are, or are they showing us exactly who they are? Are we imagining they're who we want them to be? And 9 times out of 10, that's what we're doing. And they showing us ever so subtly, but we picking up on it. But we won't allow ourselves to take in the information because we're imagining them to be somebody that we hope that they could be. And then talk about hope. How does hope fill in the gaps that silence leaves?
And before you move on to that, I would say, and that what y'all have discussed, I would say that would be the negative part of it. That would be the negative aspect of it. And like reading between the lines when you ask somebody how they feel, they say, "Oh, I'm fine," but read between the lines, no, they're not fine. Something's
Correct.
wrong. Or, just you can really be loyal and you can really be friends with a person and just know that in this conversation, they're not saying something. They don't, because a person don't have to tell you everything, right? Doesn't matter how close you are. Doesn't matter what level of relationship you're in. Well, I wouldn't say that when it comes to like married couples, that's different. But like friendship or whatever, or work relationship, a person doesn't have to tell you everything in that conversation. But I have the gifts to navigate between the lines or know when something's not being said. For sake of whatever. That would be the more positive side of it versus the negative side of it, because just absolutely, um you can't, when a person show you signs and you have to read, if they're doing one thing and showing you something else, yes, you're reading between the lines, you can see that they are definitely showing you, hey, this ain't adding up. So that would be I would think that would be the negative side of the question, right?
Okay.
um
Right.
Right.
And even
and
with, and what you're saying, I get what you're saying. Even in that, but it does it take on a positive connotation? Because even if you're talking to somebody and you can read between the lines and you know that they're not doing okay, and they still keep saying, "I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine." Well, nothing really positive is coming from that, because you're not being forthcoming to me, which you don't have to.
you don't have to, right?
Right, you don't have to, but what can I do at that point?
Right,
So,
nothing is. There's no answer. It's just that we read between the lines that that person isn't telling us everything, right? And it's not necessarily a negative thing because they don't have to. It's like, oh, I'm okay, I'm good. But oh, this is if something happened in their life and they don't want to share it with you, but something is not right. That's not a negative thing, and they don't have to, and they don't have to give a reason why. It's just okay. Let's just move on past this. It's okay. They don't have to. But you can read between the lines, you can feel, that something's off. And
and I
it should not change or have a meaning, or you shouldn't have to feel a certain kind of way because they didn't disclose,
and see,
right?
that's just what
So
I was gonna do, because
so
I
so
do feel a
so
certain type of way.
See,
I
I
will,
don't.
yeah.
I
I will,
don't.
I will.
So
Every
that's my thing. So why even read between the lines? If they don't want to tell you, they won't tell you. So don't
Right.
read.
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm going to automatically read because I'm a reader, right? So I've always
Okay.
read between the lines,
Because you
right?
might be
So
wrong.
and I could be wrong, and that's why I say it doesn't matter. Just let it go. It could be wrong. It may not be anything wrong, but I feel like what I've read is right, and that's my opinion, and that's my right to have that foresight and that thought. But it shouldn't have to be something to be. It shouldn't go any further than that. Is what I'm saying, right? Because that person don't have to tell you, and it shouldn't be a discussion. It is what it is. It's just okay. I could be wrong. I could be right.
and that's and that, and again, we've talked about this before. Me and getting in people's business and stuff. Um, if I'm your friend, I'm gonna feel some type of way, because just like you, because I'm not your friend. I ain't talking about no acquaintance. I ain't talking about some come fly by nightly type situation. If I'm your friend, that means I know your habits. I know what makes you tick. I can tell energy through the fucking. Oop, I said I was not gonna cuss no on this thing. Please take that word out, Mr. Lee. Please,
Ma'am,
please,
it's your second time
please.
cursing already because you already said another curse word.
Please.
Yes. It's too late, ma'am.
I know. But yeah, I know what makes you tick. I can read energy. I'm such a good reader of energy. And so if I care enough, first of all, to try to figure out what's going on, and I've read between the lines, and I said, well, something ain't right. And I ask you what's going on, and you throw it off, or that bothers me. And maybe
Yeah,
it
but
shouldn't.
and it's, I mean, but that's you, and it's okay. It's okay if it bothers you, and I understand. Everybody has the right to feel the way that they feel, but you can't make another person tell you. and that doesn't make it right or wrong. And I
Mhm.
think that's where we have we need to lighten up a little bit when it comes to relationships and friendships. Like, we need to be able to be like, okay, let it go. And then maybe it might come out in the wash a year down the line. And it's okay because they don't have to tell you right then and there, right? And that's how I feel. That's just how I view things, right? Um, because I am very analytical and I do read between the lines. Now, sometimes it's just you can't be that way in every situation when you feel like something is not right. Hell, sometimes I feel like I shouldn't get in the car and go to the store. I don't feel right, but I'm still getting in the car and go to the store. It's just based on that feeling. I'm not gonna not go. But just, and it's okay, but it shouldn't be an in-depth conversation. It shouldn't be the end. It shouldn't be anything that really needs to bring up and be in discussion. It's just that we're people. You're still my good friend. It doesn't mean that because you don't want to tell me something that's going on with you, I don't have to pry. I don't have to keep prying. I don't have to feel like you don't feel the same way about me because you won't release that information to me. That no, that I don't
See,
feel that way.
that's how I feel. I don't know why. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know
that's
why.
okay.
I don't know why, but that's how I feel. If there's something going on with you, and yeah, I'm trying to
Now,
figure
if
it
it's
out. And,
something
it's just
important, like this is something critical, crucial, then that's different. But like every situation that come up, if somebody don't disclose something to you, it's no need to blow it out of proportion. There's no need to make a big deal about it or an assumption about it. That's just how I think.
And I think it may vary person to person, because there are levels of friendship. So person to person, for me, it would vary. Some people, I ask you what's going on, and you don't want to tell. Okay, fine. Okay, well, I'll pray for you. Other people, if I ask you what's going on, because I feel like we have a relationship.
And I get
Now,
that.
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you don't feel the same.
No,
Not you
And
particular.
then
Not
too,
you.
and
no,
then
I get it.
too,
No, I get
I,
it.
I would say this about, like, because Christy is like that, but at times when I don't want to talk about it, I appreciate her making me want to talk about it because I need to let it out or whatever. I'd be like, friend, I'll tell you tomorrow, and she might be like that. Hey, I don't want to talk about it right now. Then I'll tell you
Hmm.
2 days down the road, and she
Right.
might do that. So I appreciate that exchange, but at least I'm acknowledging something is wrong. The thing is, you're acting a certain way, and people have to assume. You never want to have somebody assume that you're
Correct.
feeling. Don't have them assume if you're friends that nothing is wrong. Just say, yeah, I'm having a bad day. I just don't want to talk on in detail about it. And just say that. Be truthful about, I don't want to talk about it today. So people won't have to read in between the lines and just say, hey, and then after they say that, then you respect that person and saying, like, hey, they don't want to talk about it, don't want to pry. Yeah, that's, but then instead of just saying, hey, I don't be communicate with the person, whoever they are.
But then,
I'm not feeling this today. I don't want to talk about it today. Yes, something is wrong, but I don't feel like talking about it today. And I think the person that you're having that exchange with will respect that. But if you act in a certain way, and I gotta figure out, girl, what's wrong with you? And you like, that's not fair to the person that's acting. I'm not saying you gotta disclose all the details, but at least say, I ain't feeling it today. Oh, I'm happy today. My toe hurt today. Hey, give me tomorrow. My toe ain't gonna be hurting tomorrow. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. Just communicate that so nobody won't have
and
to
it
read in between the lines.
and
Cause
it
it
very
might
well
not
may
be,
not be anything. It
it
may
may
not be
not.
anything going on. I might feel like that maybe I read something, but like you said earlier, I could be wrong. But then in my mind, I feel like I read something, and so when that person tells you there's nothing wrong, it could be maybe you may have misread something, and just let it go. Just let it go, because sometimes you can make an issue out of pushing the issue, your
That's
issue,
what I said. I
right?
don't push
And
it.
so,
Don't push the issue. But if there's like something obviously wrong, what's on the page that's not matching in how you acting. So
right.
we talking about reading between the lines. That's
Right.
what we're
So, like, if
saying.
it's something that's
So
been going on and you're like, wait a minute, I noticed this, like, I know for sure it's something going on. Now, at that point, then that's a horse of another color. But if it's just something where I just feel like, maybe I feel like something ain't right and I done brought it up and you say it's nothing, it just very well could be nothing. Could be nothing. Or you just don't,
I'm gonna say, like, for Stephanie, and she knows, and y'all might know this about me too, but especially her. Y'all, I I will poke the bear. I will poke the bear because I'm genuinely concerned. It's not that I'm trying to be nosy because I am not a nosy person. I am genuinely concerned, and being genuinely concerned for some people, it destroys you. It comes back to you, and it bites you in the butt all the time. But for other people, I am genuinely concerned. So I'm reading between my something right now. I know your usual humor. I know your usual energy, and it's off. So when
Well, we're not
I'm like,
talking.
ugh,
Yes.
like, what is it? And then I'm like, oh, you make me sick. And she still won't tell me. If she ain't gonna tell me, she ain't gonna tell me till she ready to tell me. But that don't mean I ain't gonna pry. I ain't gonna be
Right.
like, what is it? Tell me,
And
tell
so
me.
we're not
But
talking
I know.
about, let's not, and we're not talking about nothing that's serious. Like, you know that I know you're holding something back.
No,
We
no,
just
it
saying,
ain't.
yeah, we're talking about, like, we're saying basically, because that can come up with something that's small. Hear me again. I'm saying in any situation. So it
Any.
doesn't necessarily have to be something important that I can just really see that, hey, something is wrong with her and she's not saying, or something where I can just in my mind feel a certain kind of way. And it may not be nothing necessarily wrong in an everyday conversation, but then, that's what I mean. Like, it doesn't matter, like, if you're a good friend, my best friend, or my family member, or somebody who I work with, I'm gonna, if I read between the lines and I feel like, and I ask you and you say, oh, everything is good, then everything is good. Now, if I know you, like you know Stephanie, and it's something that you can clearly see that is not right and she's not saying, then that's different. But just just because I feel like that there's something that you're not telling me, that I'm gonna get irritated or upset at you because you haven't told me and I asked, I don't have the right to do that. And that's just how I feel. I don't
Yeah.
have the right.
I hear you. Girl, I feel, I'm the total. I feel like I do got the right to be mad. I'm pissed off because you ain't tell me. But
I'm
that's
pissed off if I know something wrong and I down the line and you didn't held it from me, and now I'm feeling like at that point I'm questioning our relationship, But I believe in letting that person come around and talk, like, because sometimes I know I can be, honey, I can be. I've grown and I've learned a lot in my life, like, and just dealing with hundreds of people that walk through my door on a yearly basis, and so you have to know where to pump the brakes, especially me. I have to know where to pump the brakes because, baby, I drive right over you, talk right over you, drive right over, run you over, everything. And I've just learned and grown in this area. And sometimes I have to still go back and rethink about some things in the way I've done it and how I say things. And I don't push the issue and I don't gossip and I don't go back and da 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 da. I let that person come to me whenever they're ready. You know, and
and
I
I
might send you a text and be like, hey, I know something's wrong, or I feel like something's wrong, or whenever you feel like talking, talk to me.
and I feel like the way we are brought up, what we choose to do as a profession, has a lot to do with how we handle situations. Because as educators, teachers, coaches, it is our job to get to the bottom of whatever is hurting
And
our students.
you're making a great point, Christy.
It's our job. We cannot,
Yes, and
when a
that's
child
why
comes to
you are
school,
like that.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, because when a child comes to school and they're frowning, they're upset, they're crying, we got to get to the bottom of what's going on. Hey, what's going on? We got to find out. Hey, what's happening? They might not have the words to tell us, but then guess what? We got to go to the parent. Hey, what's going on?
That's why
I
you
used to get to
y'all
the
are the
bottom of it.
way. That's exactly. You
Yeah,
just have
so
two different perspectives on how
that's
you approach
it.
different.
That's
Yes,
it. Our lifestyle, job,
right.
all of that has to do with it. So I don't want people to think that I'm
Absolutely.
just this overbearing bitch that want to know everybody's business. No, this is what I've done for the past 24 years. Even
Absolutely.
as a coach to
Absolutely.
these grown people,
Mhm.
to these
Mhm.
teachers, I got to get to the bottom of the issue. What is what is going on? Why are you not performing the way you should be? What's happening?
Absolutely.
So that's why, and it just overflows into all of my
That's it.
dealings.
And I deal with
Um,
mainly adults. I have grown women come through my door, so I don't have to be like that. I don't have to, you know, have that kind of. dealings with them. It's like, you say you okay, okay, cool. But if you come back in again and I'm still noticing you're the same way and I'm watching you, oh, best believe I'm watching you, right? And you still doing that, I'm just gonna go with the flow and feel you out. And several months down the line, you might come back and say something. And then I'm gonna tell you, I knew something was wrong. I knew it. Like, and what's going on? At that point, is you're a grown adult. I'm not dealing with children, like you say. You deal with children. You and Stephanie both. You're gonna come and talk to me. So I don't have no reason to be like holding, be like feeling like now she knows something wrong. Why she ain't coming? Why she ain't saying nothing or whatever. And
But
even
I
if
think,
I don't care how close I am to you, I'm still going to give you that privacy. Because even as friends, we can tend to be too involved in our friends' life. And that can be a problem because we're still individual people. And we have to learn to respect the boundaries of a very, very close friend as well.
well, I don't just deal with children. I deal with adults and children with me supervising adults. So what I do, I think it becomes, it has to deal with the relationship you have with that person, because every adult is different, every child is different. And so at times I have done with the teachers that I supervise is I'm like, hey, you all right today? Yeah, I'm fine. And then they eventually come to me. But then other people that I may have worked with 15 years, girl, what's wrong? What's the problem? Then they'll go ahead and tell me I know something wrong with you because of their relationship. So to me, it's the relationship. So to me, it's the relationship. And so I'm not going to assume that there is something wrong, because I'm gonna tell you what I do. Like, I sing in church, right? And so a lot of times when you read in between the lines, you may be wrong. And so what they teach us when we sing, that you're supposed to don't look at the people's faces, because somebody might be frowning. You up there singing the song, somebody might be frowning, somebody might be like,
That's true.
somebody be smiling. The person smiling, the person smiling,
Right?
you may assume that they
Yeah.
happy. You're assuming of what you're seeing. You may think they happy, but they probably not. They probably constipated. But this is they trying to keep the smile on their face, but they are not. But then somebody else, they may be frowning and they may be happy. So until someone tells me, I'm not going to read in between the lines, because what you see may not be that something is wrong, something is that, because of what is on the page. So I'm not going to assume anything. I'm not going to do any of that, because I don't want to read the person. Just like I don't want nobody to assume just because I'm smiling that I'm happy, because I might not be.
Mhm.
You
So I
Yeah,
crazy.
think,
and ultimately, I think that's what we're all saying.
yeah, but what we're saying, what we're saying, or what I'm not trying to dispute one or the other, because on here
Mhm.
we're telling our perspectives or what we believe, right?
Right.
So it's I ain't on
Yeah.
blue side, I ain't on red side, I ain't on they con side or pro con at this point, all right? I'm just
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
informing at this point. So
Right.
so that's what I'm saying. So you can assume, sometimes you can assume or read in between the lines, but sometimes if the relationship, because really I'm being neutral right now. What I'm saying, I'm being neutral. It's not a I'm being neutral with the stuff I'm saying right now. So you can be either or. It depends on the situation and the relationship with that person.
Right. I think that's what we were all saying. I know
Right.
that's what I was saying.
Okay, so then let's Shane, did you have anything to add to that? The talking point was, of course, again, we were never on the same page. I was just reading between the lines. And then we talked about the imagination versus the information. What we conjure up in our minds about a person or a situation versus the truth, basically, or versus what they are showing us. And then the talking point was how hope fills in gaps that the silence leaves. What do you think about that?
I mean, I want to
As
say
far as
that I agree with you because I can actually, from a personal perspective, we were actually in choir rehearsal one night, and I walked in and I spoke. And the first thing you looked at me and said, "What's wrong with you?" All I said was, "I said,
Correct.
hey." I said, "Hey." And just from that, hey, it was like, "What's wrong with you?"
Was I wrong in my assumption?
No, no, and you
Was
were
I
right.
wrong?
You
That's what
were
I'm.
right.
Yeah. Because if you know a person, you know when the energy is off. It's either
Yeah.
by the way they are looking, the way they are moving, and you hadn't opened your mouth. But I saw
Right.
you, and I'm telling people I am a very good purveyor. I can read people's energy. Good Lord Jesus, I can. And I saw you, and I said, "This girl." I watched you from the time you walked, where I could see you. I said, "That is not Shan's usual demeanor." And maybe I do too much. Maybe I insert myself too much. But if I care about you, I am going to try to find out what's wrong. It's not that I'm trying to be nosy, but I'm concerned. What's going on? What's happening? And then if
Yeah.
I put myself out there on a limb to try to see what's going on with you, and then you kind of, it shouldn't make me feel some type of way. You right, Cassandra. You right. It shouldn't. It should not. I'm with you on that, girl. I am with, but it does. And I don't know why. I feel like I'm the problem solver. I want to be able to help you. I want to be able to solve your problems. Sincerely, I do.
And you feel that way because you care, and that's okay. But
Right.
just you care, and but when it shouldn't end, make a break, or make you feel any kind of
Correct.
way
Yeah.
when they say no, everything's fine, even though you know that you feel it ain't. Let that person be in their space. That's just how I look at it. And then when they ready, they'll come and talk to you. you know and if you feel like, pull them to the side again, and then a lot of times they'll open up, or like Stephanie said, I'll talk to you tomorrow, or I don't feel like talking about it. But yeah, it's like, people are people. I don't Girl, I would be all over the place if I got in my emotions about, oh my god.
I do,
Because
and
I carry stuff. I
me
do.
too.
And I have to talk it out. I have to. Because if I don't, then, and I've learned to just be like, okay, just leave it alone, Cassandra, because just let it rest, because it may not be nothing. It could just be you, you know. Just let it
And I
go.
and I am one who needs to talk it out too. Like I that is just, yeah, whatever. But okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean whatever, but I don't, that's a whole nother tangent. But so let's just get back to, so in this topic, although it can mean other areas other than relationships, it's kind of geared toward that. So in thinking, and it may be a friendship, we can do friendship or love relationship. When we talk about chemistry that gets mistaken for consistency, when you are in a relationship, what do you want? Do you want consistency or do you want chemistry? What are you looking for in your significant other? Would you prefer them to be consistent, or do you want sparks and flames and,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, no, I've never felt this way?
I'm
Or do
over
you want
that.
consistency? What you say?
In my younger years, I wanted the sparks and the little tingly feeling in my stomach and all of
Ooh.
that. Yeah, I love that. But at this age in life, I need consistency. I need you to do what you say what you do, and be consistent. You know, show me that you are, gonna do what you say and consistently do. I need you to show up, not every single time, but I need you to show up majority of the time. And honestly, you know, be genuine when you do it. I need you to be genuine and consistent.
Okay, Cassandra. So you know exactly what you want. You are very vocal about what you want. So let me ask you this. Now, in knowing what you want from a mate, has there ever been a time when you ignore signs because the person you were interested in didn't match your hope? They didn't
Oh,
match
absolutely.
who you wanted. Okay.
I'm very bad at that. And I know you know I am bad. Well, in my past, I have
Yeah.
been bad with that. You know, just seeing one thing and wanting another, and they're not matching. You know, and so that's why I say going forward in my life, I need you to be consistent.
And see, and that's how we get on different pages. That's exactly how we get on different pages because we know what we want. But because we want this thing so bad that does not have any of those characteristics or those qualities, we keep hope alive. Like Jesse Jackson say, keep hope alive. We keep hope alive that one day, yes, that chemistry, pew, 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 is going to align with consistency. And it usually
It
never
doesn't. Mm-mm.
does.
If they don't start off that way, then they're not going to finish that way majority of the time. And I now understand when the older women. I used to think that they were bitter. I used to think that they was just mad at all men, and I didn't understand why they were okay with being alone. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to be like that. But when I tell you, y'all, I understand now at this stage in my life why. And it's not that they were bitter; it's just that they were wise. They walked the race. They ran the race. They did all the things that they were trying to protect me from. But I always believe that some things need to be learned. Everything can't be taught. So some things in life you're just gonna have to go through life and learn them. And that was one lesson that I had to learn. That now at this point in my life, I want consistency. I want you to be genuine and consistent.
Good.
You
Okay.
can't
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just can't tell me, all your dreams and aspirations and you sit on the couch and you're doing the total opposite. Like I'm not at that stage anymore. I'm past that.
Okay. Okay. Well, Shan, what about you? Chemistry versus consistency. What are you looking for?
Consistency. Because I think if you have consistency, that chemistry will follow.
Oh, that's
That,
sexy.
you said that, Shan.
That's sexy. Oh, that did. Oh, girl.
Shan don't say much, but when she do say something,
Baby. Oh, oh, oh. My God, today.
oh, nice.
Not today. Yes. Oh, wait, I need a moment. Whew, I done got hot.
That's the truth right there.
Sure.
Now that is true.
My God. Okay. Yeah, that's good, Shan. That's
Look, we just like
I don't even know. I don't got I don't know what to say. Like
Because it's like when you first meet somebody, when you first meet them, it's gonna be an attraction. It's gonna be
mm,
some kind of chemistry that's there, but you're gonna have to have that consistency to keep it going
mhm, mhm,
because that's
mhm.
just not gonna
Yep,
hold it.
it's not.
yeah. So then we've talked about what we want. And so even in that, why do we and we know what we want and we know in the past that we have not always stuck to the script. Again, imagination versus information. This is what we want from this person. This is all this person is capable of giving us. Instead of ending it, why do we continue to read between the lines? What is causing us to read between the lines and not just cutting that thing off?
Because I know I've looked at what they were capable of doing versus what they were actually doing. I've always been like, okay, well, he's capable of doing this or being this. My earbuds just died. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
And so I've always looked forward to what he say. I've always believed what came out your mouth. So if you said it, I'ma believe it. And so I'm always looking for him to do what he say. And it just never lines up. Just never. So yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. What about you, Shane? Why do we not just cut that thing off before we don't give it no lifelines? We don't give it no room to breathe. Instead, we just continue to read between the lines.
Because, like you said, we're trying to keep hope alive.
Yeah.
when you first met,
Yeah.
if that's what that person was doing, then after a while they got comfortable and they started showing you their true selves. But you want to keep hope alive that that's really not something, that's not the person that they are. That is just something that they're going through and that they'll
Yeah. And
change.
so,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. And so it's kind of like we have faith in this person that they're going to come around, but, and then patience, but that's faith misused as patience instead of discernment. We talked about discernment last episode that just
Right.
dropped this last week. And so, I mean, we got it all confused. You know, oh, well, I have faith that he's going to change. I'm patient that he's going to come around. Like Cassandra said, he has all this potential. Baby, potential will get you every time. Every
Right.
time, every time, every time, every
Every time.
time, every time,
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
every time. It'll get you just yeah. So
Oh
and
yeah.
we know, y'all, God is not a God of confusion. You know, I gotta bring God into every segment. He's not. He is not. But we gonna stay confused if
Yep.
clarity threatens our fantasy. We don't wanna know, we don't want this to end. We like the way we feel. We like the way they make us feel. We you know, oh, we giggly and giddy and you know, but that clarity will threaten that fantasy every single time. So,
Mm-hmm.
so many times we don't even seek it. We okay with reading between the lines. I'm just gonna keep on being blind. It's okay. It's okay.
Po little ting
Oh
ting.
yeah.
Po us.
Girl.
Right.
Ah,
Right.
listen. Ooh. And so, you know, I really y'all dating and stuff like that. You know, I'm married and stuff, been married 21 years. So, you know, even yeah, we fear asking those direct questions that'll help us to see the big picture. Direct questions. Ask. What's your
Yep.
5 year plan? What's your team? But even if we ask, sometimes they'll just tell us what we want to hear.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
Stephanie said, they said "Who's the representative. That's the
Yep.
representative.
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
that is the representative. And then we ask questions about the relationship, and maybe you know we continue to read between the lines because we have a fear of hearing no.
Oh,
What's
that's good,
Mm.
Christy.
That
Uh-huh.
is true.
Yes. Oh, that is very
That
true.
is true.
I know with me, I don't like no.
yeah, yeah, a fear of hearing no. But maybe if we learn how to be okay with no, it'll save us a world of heartache, y'all. It'll save us a world of heartache because we as women we feel differently than men. And you know, we're giving our all in the situation and they just on the cusp, on the side, you know, on the cusp, on the sidelines, and we done put
Living their
all of
best
us
life.
into it. Yeah. We done put all of us into it and it's okay. You know,
Yeah.
if it ends, they'll be fine in some situations. Every situation is not the same, but we give differently than men. So you know we have a fear of hearing no. We have a fear of losing access, especially if this is somebody we really into. So
Yeah.
to not hear no and to not lose access, we just read between the lines. We just
Yep.
continue to use our imagination instead of that information. But there
Yep.
is a cost to ignoring reality. And what is it? What is the cost that we have to pay when we ignore reality? Have y'all ever had to pay the cost?
Oh
Because again, I've
man.
been married 21 years. So is there a cost that y'all have had to pay when you decide that you're going to ignore the reality?
I feel like it
Wasting
lands.
time.
Where I feel like you're wasting. Oh my, stuck. Wasting time. You can't get that time back. Time is very,
You
very
can't.
valuable. I feel like I lost a lot of my 30s and a lot of my 40s. All of my 30s and my
Mm.
40s dealing with guys that just wasted my time. And you can't get that
Yeah.
back. And I'm not willing to let no one else waste my time. And I don't want to sound like, you know,
and you know, when you have these conversations with guys, you don't want to come off and sound like you like this person who got all these red flags or whatever up, because I believe in giving everybody their time, their chance. But
But
if it's not lining up,
do
I'm just
they
gonna
do
say it's
they
not lining up.
do they give you that chance though? Guys know what they want off,
Right off the
you know,
jump.
Quick.
Hmm.
within the first conversation. They know if you're gonna be somebody they're gonna play with,
Yep.
if you're gonna be somebody they're gonna lay with,
Yep.
or if you're gonna be somebody they're gonna stay with. They
Hmm.
know it.
They
They
know.
know it.
They
And so,
do.
and that's about, that was a statement I was making before.
Absolutely.
We are so in tune to the relationship. We give our all, and
We
you
do.
know, da, 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 da. And baby, off the first rip conversation, they know who they gonna lay with.
That's it.
They know the ones they gonna play with, and they know who they gonna stay with. And
Hmm.
we are just a contestant in
That's
their
it.
game.
Yeah, that's
That's
the
what
And
it
I'm
truth.
is.
not willing to be that contestant anymore. I'm tired. I know that I
Yeah.
am. I deserve more. Um, and I know my worth now. You know, I can honestly say I didn't know it
Yeah.
then, but I know it now.
That's good, Cassandra. And sometimes the hardest breakup, and it seems like you have moved beyond that. And sometimes getting past that, the hardest breakup is not with the people that, play with your heart, who are selling you lies, it's with the story you told yourself. And it seems like you've come up out of
Oh,
that. It
Oh
seems like
yeah.
you've come out of
absolutely,
that.
absolutely.
It really does. And
And
that's a
I'm
good place to
comfortable.
be.
I never would have thought that, like going back to the older people when they be like, honey, I don't need no, I don't look at it like that, but I can definitely say, because I definitely need a man. I definitely do. I want a man. I feel like we all need that partner in our lives.
We do.
Um, yeah, because nobody is to be alone for any length of time. But I just feel like I know that I'm comfortable where I am. And if you're not going to add to me or elevate me, because I know I'm gonna add to you and elevate you. And if you're not willing to teach me, if you're steady pulling on me to teach you, because I believe that a man is to teach a woman.
Me too, girl. Woo.
You
Y'all need to
know,
stop tonight.
yes.
Y'all need
Instead
to
of
stop.
we're always pouring into them and teaching them and doing everything, and it's like, no, the roles is not in line. They're not right. Like, you're supposed to be pouring into me,
Right.
teaching me, and and I do what I need to do on my end as a woman in your life. But if you're not willing to do that, then I don't want to waste any time. I'm comfortable
Well
with my life
said.
right now.
Pour
Well
into
said.
me, please. I want to grow. You
Yeah,
know,
Well
that
said.
should that.
absolutely.
Yeah, that was really good. So, how do we stop from being on two totally different pages and two totally different books? How do we stop front loading imagination versus information? Ladies, we have to ask direct questions early. Ask those direct questions. And even in asking direct questions early, if he is a real man, if he is a man of integrity, if he is a man of character, he's going to be honest.
Hmm.
Because the truth of the matter is, he's looking for his forever person too. Hopefully.
Hopefully, right,
Hopefully. So why
right.
waste time? Like you said earlier, why play games with each other?
Yeah, because
So if
they're
we
gonna
ask those
definitely
direct
move.
questions early, if this is a man of integrity, if this is a man of character, he is going to be honest and he's going to answer those questions. Okay.
Right.
We need to stop interpreting behavior without confirmation. So, have we seen this man do these things? Has he confirmed these things? Has he confirmed, that he is gonna do A, B, C, or X, Y, Z? We don't need to interpret, and sometimes that can backfire on us too. We need to just really get the honest answer. We don't need to just, oh, I feel like, no. What is going on? Have a conversation. We don't want to destroy, we don't want to sabotage something that could be, from God. So we don't want to think that, oh, well, we know what this is. I know what this is. I know what he's doing. No, if he hasn't proven to be a liar, then we're not going to say he's a liar. Now, if he hasn't proven to tell the truth, then that's a problem. If we didn't caught this nigga in more lies in a little bit, then we got a lot of confirmation.
Gotta let it go.
Right.
Gotta let it go.
Oh yeah.
Gotta let it go. And hey, I don't want, because there are some dudes that watch this. I don't want y'all to, disclaimer, guys. We know this can go both ways. It can go both ways. So let me just say that.
Right.
A lot of y'all are some real upstanding guys.
Absolutely.
Love y'all. So it can go both ways. This show is geared to 40 plus women. So that is why we're spinning it that way. But please don't for 1 second think that we believe that guys are the spawn of Satan. We don't believe
all across the board.
No, right. No, that's not true. But this podcast is geared toward 40 plus women. And so how do we stop doing this? We watch patterns. That's important, y'all. We got to watch patterns and not potential. And that's yeah. We got to watch patterns and not potential. But we are so good for watching potential.
Yep.
Because we feel like as women, we're cultivators. We know how to take nothing and make something. We do that so well. We take a house and make it a home. We take an egg and a baby is born. We raise that baby. I mean, we are cultivators. We take raw meat and make a meal. Raw vegetables and make a meal. So that instinct that's in every woman, it carries over into our relationships, and we want to build people up. And we see potential. We feel like we can build them up. We can bring them to that full potential. Lord Jesus Christ, I've learned that is not the way. Now, you don't get me wrong. There are some men who you can see potential in and ask their wife, not as their girlfriend because it's not our job. Until you make me your wife, it's not my job to cultivate you. It's not my job to grow you. And sometimes we get so caught up in that role, and then we do all the heavy lifting, and then they out the door.
Out the door. Quick.
Because there's no commitment to us. We've done all of this, and we just go off their word or off whatever, and then they gone.
Yep.
But, there are some men, I'm not going to say every single man cannot be cultivated, every single man, because everybody has potential. And so there are some who, if we are given the opportunity to help grow, I believe they will. I really do believe they will. That's just my take on that, Yeah. I believe they will. And so we have to act on faith and not fantasy. So this segment was really about moving from reading in between the lines to being on the same page, whether it's with a friend who's going through something or a love interest that, we see that has potential for something, but we're not on the same page with. We aren't foolish ladies, but we're just hopeful. And so hopefully after this segment, you're a little wiser. I know we were chasing rabbits for a while. And wisdom in every situation looks like clarity and not clues. So we want to move from a place of clarity and not a place of clues. What does he mean? What is he saying? No, direct questions. And hopefully whoever it is that you are dating can give you those direct answers, and y'all can decide if you're aligned. If not, move on.
Move on.
Move on. So, any last words from anyone before we close this episode of She-Nanigans?
No.
We're good.
We good?
We're good.
All right. So, this has been another episode of She-Nanigans. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.